Justin, it's good to see you.
Always good to see you, Brian.
Hey, Mother Nature was not kind to Kansas wheat farmers this year. It's been a really tough, not only fall, but spring.
Oh, that's for sure. You know, every year is different with wheat, and it seems like, you know, wheat is a pretty resilient crop, but certainly this year it's been tested. It's tested from right after, like you mentioned, right after it was planted in the fall. We had actually decent moisture starting in September compared to what we've had maybe the last 3 or 4 years, so there was some reason for optimism. But then things just really started to dry out in October, November, and as that crop kind of got emerged and started to use a little bit of moisture going into dormancy, it was clear that we were already short on moisture. And so being short on moisture, not getting a lot of moisture over the winter, really impacted that crop as soon as things started to green up and warm up here this spring, and those drought conditions really started to expose themselves. That's why when you look at the crop conditions put out by NASS, you know, we've got some of the lower crop conditions that we've had in the last 10 years, this past year. And we also, if you look even in our southern states, Texas, Oklahoma are in pretty difficult shape too, mostly because of the drought. But when you say Mother Nature has been kind of hard on us, it wasn't just the lack of rain. It was probably one of the harsher winters that we've had in a while. And so we got exposed while we were in dormancy to some potential of winter kill. And so we're definitely seeing that where some fields didn't come out of dormancy, and we're definitely going to lose some wheat because of that winter kill. And it's really got exacerbated because of the drought conditions.
I think the overall estimated numbers, and correct me if I'm wrong, was a little over 9 million acres planted, somewhere around in there. Yeah. Abandonment may become an issue.
That's the real variable this year. You know, when trying to figure out, and then the market's always trying to say, you know, where the Kansas crop is, and that's why the wheat tour predominantly goes through Kansas. Kansas, you know, may have up to 30 or 40% of the hard red winter wheat production this year in the state or in the U.S. because of the lack of production in Texas and Oklahoma. And so where is that Kansas number, and what's that going to be? Ultimately is going to depend on how many acres get harvested. On average, usually it's about 8 or 10% that do not get harvested one reason or another. Some gets grazed out, some may not, you know, just get hailed out or whatever it might be. But this year, we know we're going to lose some acres to winter kill. There's been some acres that have already been zeroed out by adjusters. But then the out west and southwest Kansas, some of those fields that are really struggling from drought, it's really a question whether or not those are going to get harvested or if they're going to get abandoned. So right now it looks like it's going to be higher than average on abandonment for the state of Kansas.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up with Justin, and we're going to talk about what's going on at the Wheat Innovation Center and some other exciting research being done here in Manhattan, Kansas. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Justin, thanks for staying with us.
Thank you.
Wheat Innovation Center, basically a year. I think it's been close to at least a year. Am I close to my timing there?
You are. It's about 1 year ago. Now we're having our groundbreaking, our open house.
Open house. We know we've got researchers moving in from all over the world, all over the U.S. coming in. A lot of things going on here.
Oh, it's pretty exciting stuff, you know, and it's all happened because of farmers' investment in the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center and wheat research here at Kansas State University. We recently were awarded the National Science Foundation Center for industry and university collaboration. And so we're really excited about that. We've got several companies that will be coming in working on alongside of Kansas State researchers with the Wheat Genetics Resource Center. That Wheat Genetics Resource Center is something that's been funded by Kansas farmers for over 40 years now. And actually the first funding for those initial collections came from the Kansas Wheat Commission back when we were still located in Hutchinson. So it's really a unique story about how Kansas farmers had a vision and began investing and seeing that the value of that genetic diversity and how that's evolved to a large collection that's used by researchers around the world. And now all of that work is housed here in Manhattan at the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center, and companies are going to be coming here, and that's a really great story to tell, and that it's all thanks to Kansas wheat farmers.
Anything exciting? I know that every day is a new day when we talk about genetics and biotechnology when it comes to wheat and things like that. Anything exciting coming up?
Well, there's quite a bit exciting that's happening right now. Wheat is always going to dominate the discussion about what's happening with the weather. And so what researchers are trying to do is trying to find a way to make the Kansas wheat crop more resilient to whether it's drought, freeze, or heat tolerance. There's some real focused priority work that's going on looking at identifying some drought and heat tolerant traits that we can include into some new varieties that'll be coming to Kansas farmers and probably in the hands of Kansas farmers here in the next 5 to 7 years. Wheat has kind of lagged behind some of the yield gains that soybeans and corn has had, but we're really seeing an opportunity for some low-hanging fruit to go after here for wheat researchers, and I think it's going to make a big difference, not just for total wheat production for the state of Kansas, but for revenue per acre for farmers. And that's what we really ultimately need to do. Is Kansas farmers are some of the most diversified farmers in the U.S., planting many different crops, and when they have wheat in their rotation, or they're a 100% wheat farmer out west, we need to make that as profitable as option as possible for those farmers. And being resilient to some of those, whether it's heat or drought, and having yield stability is going to be really important. And so there's some exciting things coming.
Justin, thank you for your time.
It's always great to be with you, Brian.
And we want to remind everybody, if you haven't had the opportunity to come to Manhattan and tour, you guys give tours, people walk in all the time, they give tours here. Walk in and take a tour of this facility. It is unbelievable what's going on here in Manhattan, Kansas.
Thank you, Brian.
If you'd like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call at 785-554-5974.